Hello, everybody. As you guys start to come in, David, we pulled this off just in time. We've been going through some technical difficulties, everyone, which is crazy too, because this is honestly like the 1,000th Zoom I've done over the last 4 months. And it's funny how sometimes, as much as I know how to use it, the computer just refuses to cooperate. So thank you for being here, David.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you again, Dan. It's been a while, and looking forward to chatting, catching up.
So we're going to give everybody a minute or so to jump in, and then I will get started. Okay, he's got it recording. So we are doing this for the Orange County Realtors, Association of Realtors, which just so you know I think you know who we're talking to, but so we're just kind of right up the road from you down in San Diego County. And this is one of the associations that you got. I mean, I don't even know how many associations you do. I know you do a lot. This is one of the associations that has you as part of their package of products for the agents to use. Mm-hmm. So this is a group of people who should be familiar with you, whether they're watching it live. I see that we're streaming on Facebook now too, so they could be on the Zoom on Facebook or watching the recording. So let's, just so you know who you're talking to, it's not like you're introducing a new product, although, you know, we are dealing with an association of 15,000 plus members. I have my opinion that some of them might not know that it's a product that is available to them. So let's get into it. First of all, where are you? What's that background? Because I've been to your guys' offices down in, where are the new offices actually?
Our offices are
over from I'm the one that you took over from Walmart. Like that's the last pot that
correct.
I had. Okay.
Correct. Yeah. So that office was in Carlsbad. I'm at home. So this is my home office here.
Okay.
Which is about 15 minutes east or so of where our offices are, southeast, and it's called Elfin Forest. So it's like North County, San Diego, but it's like, if you know where Encinitas is, it's like just east of Encinitas and kind of north of Rancho Santa Fe in this little area. So been working out of the house like everybody else, man.
So that's what I was questioning, is like now that we've kind of got permission to go back to work and things start to open up, I wasn't sure. Everyone has their own vibe on that. I've seen your guys' spot though, and you're definitely a big open work area, not a lot of closed off offices there. So you guys are still working remotely?
Yeah, we've got, you know, I mean, most of the people, we did a poll and we've got about 60 people now on the team. And we've done a poll in terms of how many people want to go back full time. And it was like 90% of the staff wanted to just keep working out of their houses, which is great. I mean, we were able to transition pretty easily to the home based, you know, and we don't, frankly, none of us really need to be in the office, and we've done more Zoom calls, or we use Teams, right, to chat with our team. And everybody actually says we have better communication now than we did, because it's just, you know, you start it and they're there, and like, you have to have this interaction, where in the office, you know, you may miss out on like those random discussions, but we still have them. You just click the button, be like, hey, I've got an idea, right? And so it's worked out pretty well. All things considered, you know, I mean, I still got to pay the rent, which is kind of a bummer, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I got to figure that, because your guys' space was awesome, and it's really curious. Like people like you, and you know, I was talking with some Zillow peeps, right? And they've got that Seattle spot, and they've got like 30 floors in a building. Yeah. And in Irvine, they've got like 4 floors, and they've got this all over the country. So your spot, you know, I kind of like in your spot, like Open Door down in Phoenix. I've seen their headquarters too. Yeah. It's just a really cool vibe, but it's not like half of a skyscraper that's now sitting empty. And you know, I'm just curious how that's all going to go down with everybody as this moves forward. So everybody, now we've stalled for long enough. Got to give some intro for those who weren't here. Dan Smith, your host for the Real Interview Series here with the Orange County Association of Realtors. And our guest today, our mover, our shaker, our insider, is founder and CEO and good friend David Anderson of Lion Desk. Thank you for being here, sir.
You're welcome, man. Appreciate it.
Lion Desk CRM, baby. That is you. It says so right on your shirt.
That's right. That's right. You know, like you mentioned it in the beginning, you know, we have an agreement with CRMLS and all the associations under CRMLS, and Orange County is one of them. You mentioned, you know, a lot of people, they know who we are, but a lot of people don't. And so, I mean, that's one of the things that that we notice is that roughly half of the agents that sign on to LionDesk and claim their account have never used a CRM before. So getting introduction out there and just raising the awareness helps everybody. And, for me, into it, somebody asked me what the value of the CRM is, right? And I said, well, what do you want to do with your company? Because for a business owner, the value of their business is in their database. Whether or not they want to retire in 5 years or 10 or 20, right? Like at some point you have to have this recurring revenue where you're able to go back to your past clients. And if you don't have a database, you can't do that. So that's what I say, forgetting all the fancy stuff that we do, it's really getting down to the basics is what is your business made out of? And it's frankly, just like mine, it's a database of people.
Did you say that 50% don't use a CRM or your CRM?
Almost half the people that sign up have never used an actual CRM. I'm not including Excel or their phone or Outlook or Gmail, right?
Actual CRM, right.
Yeah, like a formalized system that automates, communicates, ingests all the leads for you, gets your Facebook leads in, does the nurturing, like what a CRM should do.
Watch. Wow, 50%, that's a large number. For those of you who don't know what CRM stands for, client or customer relationship, that's the R, relationship, which is big. And that's what so much can happen in your software to help nurture that relationship, right? And then management, how you manage that relationship with that customer or client, whatever word you use, right? So I know a lot of people, I get asked that all the time is, what does CRM actually mean? So there you go, everybody. So, okay, cool. So how did you, real quick background, how'd you get into this thing? How'd you start doing like real estate agent, CRM extraordinaire? You got like bots and all kinds of tools and stuff now. So how did that all come about? Like, in like a short 2-minute answer.
Sure. So I had a different company before this, was in the travel business, which, has been obliterated at this point. The company is going to be fine. But after about a year and a half, I was just going to open houses, with my sister, who's an agent and had been for 15 years. My stepdad was a mortgage broker. My dad, when he was younger, was actually an agent. My grandpa was a broker. So I've been around it forever. And just going to like listing appointments with my sister, I was like, well, how are you keeping track? And she's like, oh, it's on my phone. And I was like, yeah, but what about the guy last week? And she says, he'll call me when he's ready. And I was like, that's baloney, because if that was actually true, you'd be driving around in a Porsche right now. And so I was just, enamored by like the processes. And so I actually went to Inman event in 2014, just sat in the back of the room. Brad Inman was up on stage and he's like, there's a lot of cool tools. None of them really talk to each other. One of you guys should build it. And I was like, yeah, okay, why not? I'll give it a shot. And had like 30 clients in January of 2016 and then about 3,000 by the end of the year. And most of it was built off referral, right? And we use our own system. We use LionDesk to track all of our clients as well.
Awesome. So, and from an ownership standpoint, like who runs the show, who owns the show? How'd you get started? How'd you fund it? Like, how does that all work in your world? Like, I know the answer, but I just want to make sure everybody else knows. Like, I think it's a cool story. Like, so, who are your investors? Who's your backer? Who holds the purse strings?
Me. And I grew up, my grandpa was an entrepreneur. He owned an ice cream, Mr. Softy, which is like, was an East Coast ice cream truck company and like a franchise. And when I, grew up, I was doing a lot of business with him, just watching. And then the same thing with my dad, who was also an entrepreneur. Could I have gone out and borrowed $1 million from somebody? Probably, because in 2015, 16, everybody was throwing money everywhere. And still is, frankly, today. But it was kept it lean, for as long as possible. We had 3 people. Both of them, including myself, are still with us to this day. That just did everything: customer service, sales. We figured things out, and it was just built from kind of the ground up and referral. And I still get in there. I mean, posting in Facebook groups. I respond back to support tickets, but there's no job that I'm not going to do. And I think our team has that same mentality now. But when I would make $1, I didn't pay myself, right? I would put it back into the business. And I think as a business owner, you've got two ways you can do it. It's like you have an idea and you borrow a bunch of money and make it work with somebody else's money, which there's nothing wrong with that. Or, the other aspect is called bootstrapping, which is you just kind of slowly work your way up. And the biggest thing for us, man, was really the people that I hired that kind of got us to where we are today. And frankly, I still wake up every day and think that we still have a long way to go. But haven't taken any funding, it's just all us and our team members, and I've got equity that our team has. But other than that, it's no bankers telling me what to do at this point.
That's pretty awesome, because you're not held hostage to anybody. And plus, an agent's data is an agent's data, right? It's not like, oh yeah, well, we also work with this company over here, or we also work with this company over here. Your guys' stuff is just like, it's independent. And so the agent's data stays independent that way as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. Not owned by, there's other companies that are owned by brokerages, which is fine, right? Or franchises or whatever. And that's great. Use what you can is my opinion, except for the fact that I know for a fact that agents switch brokerages, right? And when they do, they need to be asking themselves the question, am I able to get my data out of the system and put it into a different one? What's that process going to look like? So we have a lot of clients who are agents and brokers. And we always, when we sign a broker account, we tell the broker, hey, here's what we recommend the policy would be, is that if your agent leaves your brokerage, give them their account and any contacts that they have that are owned by them, they get to keep. Any contacts owned by the brokerage gets to keep, but then the agent doesn't lose, valuable data, like how many people are visiting my website, all this communication. So, tough question to answer on the agent side, because if your broker is going to give you something for free, nothing wrong with that, right?
Right. Hey, everybody. So a reminder, now that we're into this thing, if you have questions, there's a Q&A bar at the bottom. Put them in there so I can make sure we get to those and get them answered for you guys and gals. You can use the chat as well to, chat. But if you put the questions for us in the Q&A, so we only have one screen to search on, that would be helpful. And don't wait to the end, because then we've got this long pause. We're just waiting for you guys to type. And some of you type really slowly, as it turns out. So we're waiting for you guys to type. So keep the questions coming as we're going through, if you have any. All right, Dave. So what I want to talk about today then was, let's shift a little bit. We're coming out of this craziness. I'm still at home. You're still at home. A lot of our viewers are still at home, because to open up a real estate office in California right now is in Orange County is a bit rough, like the OSHA requirements and everything that goes into it. So, 99% are working from home still, but things are opening up, right? Are you guys seeing that down in San Diego County? Like, you can go places, you can go to eat, it's different, but things are opening up. So what are you seeing from a, and I love your opinion, because I know you're a serious entrepreneur and you have this insight that a lot of people don't. What do you see happening with the new norm with agents, and what's going to be necessary for these next couple of months to succeed? If you could kind of give a bird's eye view of that.
Yeah, so I look at it from an agent perspective as being a business owner, right? Because they're really running their own businesses, and that's kind of the mentality that I try to put on people. And is that, yes, you sell homes and you're a real estate agent, but you also are running a business, because if you don't have all these things put in place, you don't get your commission check. For the next couple of months, I'm pretty optimistic, man. And I always was. I knew that we were going to have like 90 days of World War III, as we were going through the chaos. I do think that, this, the zeitgeist of the American public, or like the spirit, is actually strong. I mean, you can see from the stock market, it really is a V recovery that they were, wondering what's going to happen over here. That doesn't mean the economy is going to recover like that, because there's always a delay on it. But if you look at the statistics on the housing, it was actually a pretty good report. You got jobs coming in now. You never know if there's going to be a comeback of the coronavirus. But my thought is like, and I talk to a lot of different companies, a lot of different business owners. It's, yes, there's the short-term pain that may come back that we just went through, right? But where are we going to be? And this is what I told my team as well. Where do we think we're going to be in Q1 of next year? If we believe there's going to be a vaccine or things are going to get better, then you need to be planning on that. Because if you pull back too much, right? If you're not following up on your business, on your clients right now, then your pipeline is going to get smaller and smaller, so that when things start getting better, you're going to have to catch back up, right? Instead of planning for that. And so, yeah, you got to be careful, but you also have to ask yourself the question, like, what am I willing to do right now if I think there's going to be a vaccine in 6, 8, 12 months, right? And so that's what I would say. I mean, I think it's just a matter of like, what's the appetite for, are you going to advertise right now? We cut our advertising in half at our company, right? We've automated a ton. So what can you do to automate your business over the next, over the past 90 days and the next 90 days, so that, again, when things get better, you're on top of it and you don't have to catch up because business is going to improve. And frankly, people are going to want to move. I mean, we know this, right? I mean, there's Zillow, as even stated, like, home visit sites are up. I mean, requests are up. Everybody wants to move. It's just a matter of when, not if. And I think, if you listen to a lot of the top CEOs that have more data than I do, like on Redfin, I mean, there's a shift, to more rural areas, right? Suburbs.
Yeah.
So all that is good. I mean, any sort of movement is good for our industry. And we see it. I mean, we see all the text messages and emails in terms of volume that are going through, and there was no slowdown. I think people doubled down on a lot of their communication to say like, hey, I'm still here. If you need anything, I know you can't move today, but when you're ready, let's get you in there.
Yeah, the transaction count, I think, is going to be real interesting, because we've had a lot of people not move who wanted to move and maybe wanted to do something, but just, it seems difficult to do it. Plus I got the commute. And as that opens up, I think we're going to see a lot of shifting. People who wanted to be someplace else now have the ability to go there. And, urban areas, I think, might take a little bit of a hit, strictly urban. But, let's face it, 90 some odd % of, especially here in the Orange County Association of Realtors, we don't have an urban area, right? We are suburbia 101 around here. There is no real urban buildup for most of our association. And so I think there's an opportunity for a lot of people. I've heard countless stories, dozens of stories now, of people who are leaving LA, leaving high-rise condos, leaving their Brentwood places that were like, not like Brentwood mansions, but Brentwood 2,800 square foot condo, $3 million. And they're like, I can get a big house in Orange County for $3 million, or my $700,000 one bedroom, I can get a single family home in Orange County for that price. And I've heard lots of those stories happening, and we think that we're really expensive, right? And we are, compared to Nebraska. But for the people who could come here, it seems like there's going to be this shift. And man, I don't care if they get bigger or smaller. I just want transaction count, right? I just want more transactions. 2.5, 3 thing is a lot better than no movement.
Correct. I mean, think about it, right? Like, you and I are able to work from home as well as we are from an office, and that's going on across the entire country. Zillow has said they're going to give people the option to work from home. Expedia, people want to work from home. Like, why would you, and a lot of people love it, right? But why would you pay 3 times the amount in rent if you can work from home, have a little bit more room? To me, it makes sense. I mean, I live, I don't live in like a teeny little condo, so like I get it. Like I've never even lived downtown area, but I think for Orange County specifically, I think you're right. I think there will be some people that are living in these small areas, like, the cramped LA, and get out of there. And in fact, some of my friends who do live in New York City, for example, they're like, we're out of here, man, because I don't need to pay, $5,000 a month for a teeny little, shoebox, because my job lets me work from home now. So now they're like, where can I live in the country, right? Let alone New York.
And so just roll in every 2 weeks, right? Just commute in every 2 weeks if you need to. It's not that big a deal.
It's going to shift. I mean, there's always, every year, right? You know this better than anybody. It's like everyone's saying there's a shift, right? I mean, there always is, and it really doesn't matter. You just have to think a little bit, like, what am I going to do to, take advantage of that in my business every time something else changes?
Yeah. So I'm going to back up real quick. I meant to talk about how we first met. I got so excited about talking about the market, but we first met, Adam, you mentioned Inman earlier. And I want to say that we first met at an Inman, right? Do you recall? I want to say that I was actually, you got the blue Lion Desk on right now, but I think Randy had hooked me up with like a Lion Desk shirt or something that I was wearing. And you're walking through, who the hell is that? Right?
Yeah, it was, I think it was New York, right? I think it was New York.
I think it was,
so it would have been
New York. Yeah, which was cold. So yeah, it was probably a hoodie based on that, right?
Yeah, I think you did. You had your hoodie on, and I texted Randy, who's our director of business development, and I was like, hey, you know, who's wearing our shirt? And he's like, oh, that's our buddy. I gave it to Dan, right? And so, yeah, man, it's you know, that's why we give away free sweaters, Dan.
So yeah, so that's, what was that, 17 or 18? Do you remember? It's been a while.
Oh gosh, it must have been 17. I mean,
yeah,
it had to have been
a while. So we've had a really good working relationship, and I was so excited when I found out that you guys are going to become part of OCR. I was like, oh man, I've been using those guys for a year or two now. So I don't think I was part of the first 30, but I feel like I was one of the first users way up there back in the day. So let me ask you from a nuts and bolts thing. What do you see agents doing with their CRM that are having great success right now? Because I've got some people in Orange County who I know are doing really well right now and fully leveraging and taking. You know, there's at Inman last week. I don't know if you attend the virtual or not. Networking was a bit rough, by the way, but there's some good content. But crisis creates opportunity. Right? Yeah. Or opportunity is in crisis, both ways. And so, and I've definitely seen some agents just blowing up right now in this. And I've also seen a lot of agents struggling, not knowing what to do to be productive and to do anything with this. Yep. What are you seeing from a CRM standpoint? Because that's how you manage the relationship. What are you seeing agents doing that's working right
now? The primary thing is, the most effective, I should say right now, is the texting aspect of it, right? Because it's really, you know, if you look at the percentage of text messages that gets open versus email, and I'm assuming you have a relationship with these clients, right? Sending them a text message says like, hey, how's everything going? About a month and a half ago was highly effective, and it still is. Because again, what you want to do as a business owner is you want to be top of mind, right? And you're not going to be top of mind unless you constantly communicate. And Randy reminded me about this avalanche effect, right? And so what happens is you have your database, and let's say the average agent has 250 contacts that they can communicate with, right? I mean, you got some databases that are 50,000 and some that are, 200. But for the most part, you've got your core 200 that you need to communicate with pretty much on a monthly basis, right?
Right.
And so if you have them categorized in terms of like, these are my potential buyers, these are my potential sellers, this is my sphere, these are my soccer group, being able to communicate with them on a consistent basis is very, very difficult if you're going to try to do it individually, right? And so like you and I, we Facebook message, imagine having to do that with 200 people on a weekly basis. And then the next thing you know is you're going to get a couple responses from people. So you're going to have to follow up again with them. And then you get 10 more leads. And then you're like, oh, now I got to follow up these 10 leads. And then the next day you get 5 more leads. Now you got 10 plus the 5. And so unless you can like either automate or stop communicating, you got a choice, right? And so what we've seen that's been really effective is that when you have your database classified and categorized in terms of like these groups, right? These little buckets in terms of like, I want to communicate with this group every 7 days, right? You have to automate that because you're not going to be able to do it alone. I mean, we've got a database of a couple 100,000 agents at this point, right? And, we have to email everybody, and it's value, and it's not always selling stuff, but it's like, what can you do to provide value to people? Texting is huge. Video is obviously another big one, right? I think right now, and I was on a webinar about 45 days ago or so, and I said, video is one of those things where just because you can't be in front of your client doesn't mean they can't see you. And so just shoot a quick little video, make the same one for everybody else, right? Where it's like one and then blast it to everybody, whether or not it's an email or it's a text message. You got to get out there because, again, the only value in your business is them remembering who you are, because if they forget who you are, when their friend says, I want to move, they need to recommend you, right? And that's the key. It's always being top of mind. And without a system, you can't do that. I mean, that's the hardest part, right? So that's the two biggest things, is like the texting and the video. And it's just constant, man. I mean, you know, you can't be afraid to reach out to people. I mean, I tell my sister that all the time, right? You know, I always hear.
Still selling, right?
She's still selling, man.
Yeah.
She uses Lion Desk, right? And, you know, I said, you got to get these things organized. You've been in this for 15 years. Think of how many referrals you've missed out on because you didn't reach out to your clients consistently, or your past clients consistently, you know, and that's the biggest issue, is we're scared to let people know what we do. But as a business owner, man, I'm wearing my shirt everywhere. You're wearing my sweater, right? It's like, what do you do? You just got to do it, right? And you got to get out of this mindset of like, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to bother them, right? Well, you should. Not, you know, like bug the hell out of them, but like you should always be there so that when they think about you, or when they think about moving, they're thinking about you.
So we've got a question just come through, which is a good question. Thank you, Elizabeth. Would you send the same video to all, that video to the text message? So I want to talk about content real quick. And then David, you think I'm going sideways. You know, I talk to, it's fair to say, 1,000 agents a week, bigger groups and one-on-one, and an overarching theme to their message to me. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to send them. I don't want to bug them. I mean, that's like 9 out of 10 that I get from people. And so what I want to make sure to stress is using a video, and then we'll answer your question directly, Elizabeth. Using a video, you're sending a text, be it written word or video. It doesn't have to be about real estate. You are a realtor. I love saying it that way too, real long. Realtor, like some people do. Like I'm from the South, Forrest Gump, realtor, right? But that doesn't mean that's the only thing you can talk about. You're so much more than that, okay, to people. And so when you're sending content, you should be communicating with people about other things. You can make a video real quick on the fly that says, hey, just want to let everybody to know I'm down here today. Like I'm in Mission Viejo, so I'm going to talk about my hood right now, right? I'm down here in Mission Viejo today. In case you guys and gals didn't know it, the OG's Pizzeria is now open right here on the corner of Geronimo and Alicia. They have opened up. They've got dining inside. They've got patio dining, right? They've taken all the safety precautions the state requires, and they're now doing more than curbside. That'd just be a good video to let people know about this, like a service, right? You don't have to be talking about real, you know, and don't like screw it up by being like, and for all your real estate needs, make sure you reach out to me. Here's my, you know, just keep it about you're bringing some value to them with information. The next video or text could be about, hey, did you guys hear there's going to be this thing going on downtown at the library? It doesn't have to be about real estate at all. And on occasion, you can mix in some real estate. Hey, it just listed, it just sold. Did you know this? Interest rates, all-time lows right now, in case you didn't know, whatever it is. You can mix something like that. And then you go back to 2 or 3 or 4 different messages. Like your cadence doesn't have to be once a month when that's what you're doing, because you're giving them stuff in between that doesn't like piss them off and be like, they're always asking me if I'm ready to buy or sell yet. Does that make sense? Like, what do you see with the people who are using yours? And then we'll answer Elizabeth's question specifically. Like what kind of messaging top agents use?
I think you answered it, man. And that's the point, right? I get the same question. What should I say? The answer is it doesn't matter, right? Do you always want to be shoving sales down people's throats? No, right? But what you want to do is stay top of mind, and you're staying top of mind by sending them things like, hey, OG's is open, which by the way is a great pizza restaurant, right? And sending the messaging out. So to answer the question, it doesn't have to be specific for everybody if it's great, valuable content, right? And so if you think about sales, imagine yourself, you know, up in like these bleachers watching a parade, right? And the people that are right in front of you are the ones that are ready to buy or ready to sell. And then you have a whole group of people in this parade that haven't gotten there yet, right? And they're slowly making their way towards the decision process to get right in front of you. If you haven't been communicating and providing value to these people as they're getting closer and closer, they're gone. They're past you, right? The parade is over and they've already gone somewhere else. What you have to do is always think like, How many people are out there that I should be communicating with, providing value to, so that when they're ready, they reach out to me? And that's what it's all about. It's not about, you know, hey, do you want to buy a house again, or here's another property? Like, that's not it, right? Like, provide the value and be, you know, local community is a great way to do it. Like you said, if you're an expert at your local community, go interview some restaurants, send that content out, right? Go talk to people and be like, hey, I'm here with the CEO of OG's. He just opened up. You know, what's it going to be like when people start coming back to your restaurant? And then send that out, right? And so there's little things that you can do that take time, but provide a ton of value.
And now, Elizabeth, to answer your question, as long as you don't say like, hey, David, I just wanted to let you know that OG's is still open, because that's a lot of videos, right? Like, how many people do I have named David that I could send that to? That would be more something along the lines of, hey, Elizabeth here, Mission Viejo OG's is open, and I just thought I'd drop you a line. I was thinking about you and let you know about it in case you're feeling some pizza and able to go out and eat again. Something like that, right? So you can keep it bland, not bland, but you can keep it general, but still very specific, talking about one thing, but you don't have to mention them by name. And that way you can send it to, you know, for Elizabeth, I understand your geography, right? You can send it to everybody in Laguna Hill and Mission Viejo that meet that list. You might not send it to somebody all the way down in San Clemente. That's a little bit of a hike, right? So that might be a little bit different message. So it might be a little bit tailored, but you can still send it to mass groups of people. Again, if you've used your criteria in your CRM correctly, right? If it just says heartbeat, then everyone's going to get it, right? That's not very specific. But if it's like Mission Viejo or, you know, Saddleback, for those of you who are in Elizabeth's area, Saddleback or Kappa or whatever, that will, you know, you can scope that down so it is relevant to them. And then she also said, you answer this one, David. Do you attach that video to the text message? So what's your recommended, how does that go down?
Yeah, so inside of Line Desk, we have the video texting. So you can actually record the video from your desktop or your phone, and then you just attach the video inside of the platform, and it'll send it out automatically, and you can send it to 10 or 20 people at the same time. So, you know, record the video once. Another thing that we've actually seen a lot of agents do is they'll do a single, when they used to do open houses, a single open house video. And so every time they would do an open house, they would send out the video that evening and be like, hey, it's David, I'm in my office. I just want to say thanks for coming to my open house. It was really great meeting you. That same video is used every single open house that you do for the next 6 months, right? And so there's that. There's the listing appointment email. Hey, it was really great meeting you today. You know, I really feel like there's a lot that we can do together. Just record one video for all these different functions of what you're doing in your business, and then automate the process. And same thing with local content. Everybody that comes down and gets added to your database for Saddleback, send them a little video email. But you only created it once, and you just mass deliver it.
See, differentiation in this business is so difficult, right? We all have lockbox keys. We all have MLS access. We all have a DRE number. Well, not you and I, but you know what I mean. All the agents, they all work for a brokerage for the most part, or you are your brokerage, but there's very little differentiation sometimes. And we can try to say, well, I have experience or my negotiating ability is good, but so's a lot of other people's. And it's really tough for the general public to like, oh, I can see that you're a great negotiator. Try the giant N on your chest, super negotiator, right? They can't see that. But what they can see is video and how many people are using that medium to communicate with them. That turns into a big differentiator, doesn't it? Like
Absolutely.
That's what kind of launched you guys, in my opinion. Like, you were one of the very first to get in front of
them.
We had one of the only ones who have it integrated inside of you.
Yeah, we're still the only one that has like an integrated video text solution where when you send the text out, they push play. It's not a link. But, you know, Marcus Lemonis, who is on the CNBC shows The Profit, right? His whole thing is people, product, and process. And to your point, Dan, every realtor, right, has the same product. Everything is the same. We're all selling that particular house, right? The people and the process are what's going to differentiate yourself, right? So the person, how are you communicating with your clients? What are the processes that you're going to be doing, right, to follow up on them, to make sure that their hand is being held through this whole process of buying or selling their home? But that's the biggest thing in this relationship, and what I figured out very quickly when I first got into real estate, was the value of relationships in this industry. I mean, there is nothing more valuable than that, is the relationship that you have, like that you and I have, Dan, right? Or I have with thousands of agents across the country because they refer their business over to me, or they refer people to use LionDesk. But for every agent, like, the relationships are what differentiates you, right? You got your processes, you can automate, that's great. But like talking to people, getting to know them, you know, and I mean, those are the things that we forget. We try to automate everything, and from a CRM perspective, it's like, yes, you should automate everything, but it doesn't mean you can't have personalization through that automation, right? By doing the video or sending the one-offs. I mean, I think it's valuable. We all know when we get a message and it's like, this was generic and it was garbage, because you know it was generic, right? Take a little bit of time, right? Take a little bit of time and just be like, for your top clients, call them, select all, dial, right? Like, it's not that hard. In fact, I had my whole team last week. We took everybody who canceled, or a group of people that canceled LionDesk, right? Which I hate seeing, right? And I said, here's 15 calls. I gave them to all my executives. I made 15 calls, reached out to the clients. This is, hey, it's David Anderson. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I was just wondering, because I want to improve my business, what could we have done better? And that was it, right? And out of the dozen calls that I made, man, I got a hold of 4 people, right? Which is about kind of the pickup ratio. But I learned a lot. And so it's like, you always have to be like, what can I do better? So if you didn't get that listing, why not, right? What was it? What can we adjust from our business perspective that is going to get us that listing next time, or keep that client, right? And so it's valuable. I mean, the relationship aspect of it, man, there's nothing more valuable, which is what, going back to my very first point, the value is in your database. Have it categorized, have it classified, and communicate.
The one-offs is key too, because we talked about automation, and that's why we have a CRM, is for reminders and automation. But that doesn't mean that it all has to be automated. Automated is an augment or to leverage that information, right? But if you were to just take the time to record 5 one-offs a day to your best clients, to your raving fans, to your best leads, you'd be like, well, geez, Dan, 5 a day, it's going to take me a long time to get through my database. Yeah, but is it really? 5 a day, 20 work, that's based on just 20 work days. That's 100 videos a month you're sending out, right? David looks like he just froze. I want to make sure I didn't freeze. Can somebody use the chat bar? Can you guys tell me if you can see me? Okay, you can hear me. Awesome.
I can hear you.
Okay, you froze with the coffee mug to your mouth. So I was like, oh, I want to make sure everybody could still hear me. So if you did 5 videos a day, on just 20 days out of the month, that's 100 videos that are going out. So my challenge is, well, okay, it's maybe not your whole database, but how many one-off videos did you send last month, right? And I bet it wasn't 100. And I bet it wasn't 100. If you can get 100 personal touches out there, just be like, hey, Elizabeth, I was just thinking about you. I want to let you know what's going on. I know that over there and I actually kind of know who Elizabeth is, right? So I know over there in Castle Hill, you guys have seen this happening. I mean, you can talk with some specific I can't say that word, specific items that they can latch onto, like, whoa, this is really unique. They said my name, they said where I'm at, like they know it's to them. And it's not that hard to just do 5 a day. Yeah, it's hard to do 100, but if you did 5 a day, you'd get through everybody of the 300 in a quarter. And if you could have that personalized message, leveraging, augmenting the general messages that go out too, that's powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, agreed. And this is why I dial in on these things, because my computer internet inevitably dies.
You're back. You're back, but you're muted. There you go. You're good.
There we go. Cool. Yeah. So this is why I dial in on these things, man. You know, working from home, I've learned this on Zoom. You got to have backups on top of backups.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're right. I think, you know, you have to have the personalization, right? Which is why when I called those people, or had the team call the people, it's just building the relationship. I mean, if you have a list of people that you should call, and roughly, you know, most agents on average have a few hundred contacts in their database. I mean, how hard would it be to just reach out to, you know, over the course of 6 months or 3 months, a handful at a time, like you said, just to say hi, how's everything going? You know, it is valuable, and that's how you build a business. You know, I mean, that's how I built this business, was by talking to people, finding out what they wanted. We didn't win all the time, right? We lose a lot, but then it comes down to like, what are you going to take out of it? What are you going to learn out of it? You know, can you get better the next time you have an appointment? You know, I'm always learning. I mean, I look at your stuff all the time, and you and I have been friends for a long time. It's like, man, we blow it all the time, right? And we miss things,
right?
and it's okay, right? I mean, it's okay, you know, but you know, it does feel like it gets overwhelming, you know, for a lot of people. I got my database and it's big, and what am I going to do, and how do I classify? We hear that all the time. We've started offering services now to where if you have your database and you don't know where to start, we'll actually go through like 10 different items with you to get your contacts imported, to get you set up, to tag them properly, to get you going on the filters. We'll start some drips. And so I wish I would have offered this service 3 years ago. I probably would have had 3 times as many people using our system, right? So now we offer it because I've listened to people who have canceled, and they're like, oh man, I had a database, I just didn't use it. It's like, okay, what can we do, right? And so think of your clients who are sitting in your database and you're not using it, which means they're not hearing from you, how much that's actually costing your business. Like for me, it's $25 to $49 a month. For an agent, thousands, right? By not communicating with their clients.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, lots of thousands, right? Hey guys and gals, we got a little bit of time left. If you have some questions for either myself or David, throw them in right now to the Q&A bar, please. This is your opportunity to ask live. Everybody who's watching this recording, it's going to be a little tough to do if you're on Facebook watching the stream. I don't think it's going to come up either, so we won't see those. But anybody who's on the Zoom itself, use that Q&A bar and get those questions in. All right, so here we go. So now we're coming out of this thing, David, right? Let's just pretend, let's go back to the future. Marty McFly and the flex capacitor inside the DeLorean has popped us out. I've got this meme, by the way, that I've been sending out to people. I don't know if I sent it to you, and it's got like Alex P. Keaton looking at Doc when he first comes out of the car for the very first time, and he says, rule number 1, whatever you do, don't ever set it to 2020. That's a good one, right?
I love how you called him Alex P. Keaton. I mean, like you went back, man.
Family Ties and that. That's not even his name. It's Michael J. Fox, right? Yeah, but Alex P. Keaton. That's what he always wants to be. Couple questions coming in, but let's real quick. Let's get me answer this, and we'll grab those questions. So now we've come out of this thing. We're through September, we're through October. The NFL season has started. They're letting people go to sporting events. Open houses can happen. It's back to normal. Now what? What are agents going to need to be doing, do you think? Just David's opinion.
I'll tell you what, man. If we take a step back, right, if you kind of lean back a little bit and take stock in terms of like, where were we, you know, in last quarter of last year, right? And then we had, like I said, the 90 days of World War III that extended out to, you know, 120 days of World War III. And now we're going to go hopefully back into it. The biggest thing that I think we need to do is lean back a little bit, figure out like, what should I start doing? What should I stop doing, right? And what should I continue to do? And we do that exercise quarterly with our team. We've already talked about getting the database organized. We talked about the automation, right? In terms of doing the automation, we talked about the personalization, dollar producing activities, right? That's another big one for an agent, okay? Yeah. What am I doing right now that I shouldn't be doing, right? Which is that start, stop, continue exercise, to where if I get somebody to do this for me, maybe it's my nephew, maybe it's my kid, maybe it's an ISA or an assistant, yes, you got to pay them, but how much of your time is worth that, doing that versus somebody else's, right? And so doing that kind of exercise helps, I think, everybody from a business perspective figure out like, I should not be doing this stuff anymore. Trust me, there's plenty of things that I do. I know I shouldn't do. I like doing them. Doesn't mean I should do them, right? And then if you take stock of all that stuff, because you're leaning back, because you're working now like on your business, coming out of this, you're going to be more effective than you were before, because you're like, why am I doing these like menial tasks, right? Like hire somebody to set up your drip campaigns, right? Yeah. Should you be sitting there crafting content all the time? Probably not, right? You should be on the phone, talking to people, going to appointments, communicating with your clients, creating the videos, like the unique stuff that you have to do. And then just executing the plan on it, right? I mean, I think those are the top things, like as we're kind of hopefully coming out of this thing. And then take a vacation. Everybody should go somewhere, especially on a cruise. I think they're great.
Yeah, get that vacation industry jump started, right? Hey, we've got 3 questions. One, from a dev standpoint, right? With the devs, how do you guys fight like spams and increasing the effectiveness of emails? Texting, no doubt, number 1 mode of written communication in today's world, I think. But emails are still, used, but there's spam filters on those versus texts again, right? Which is another reason text is so great. But how do you guys work through that?
Yep. It's a constant. We've had to kick out a couple people that were spamming. A few years ago it was much easier because Google and Yahoo and stuff, they didn't care as much. Now they're getting stricter and stricter. We have a multitude of things that we put into place and are actually modifying it. So like if you're a high sender with 0 bounces and 0 spam reports, you're going to be on exclusive, what's called IP addresses, right? And so we're doing a lot of different things. Having your own domain name, right? Instead of using dansmith@gmail.com, like that's not good. Not good for you as a business. It's not good for Google servers anyways. Have your own domain name, right? Like use your company name. My sister is like SheilaCloses.com, right? We can actually white label those domains, which means from a email perspective, Google says like, cool, this person sent out this email from this domain, check, and it's verified, which means probability of spam goes down. If you have a lot of images and no text, that's a flag, right? So there's a lot of things. And it's a moving target with these guys, right? Like none of us want spam. And so for companies like ourselves and agents, like we're trying to do everything we can to get over that. But we've got some recommendations, FAQs. Otherwise you can just look online, like best things not to email out, that will get caught in spam. And there's 20 different things that you can do, but we're always modifying what we do on a daily basis.
All right. Noel asked, what new capabilities can we anticipate for LionDesk? I saw that the MLS is going to be incorporated.
Yep. So we've been working on that for a while now. And actually CRMLS will be started. So you'll be able to, a couple of things. One is browsing the listings from inside of LionDesk and communicating those listings to your clients, right? And so you'll be able to see your listings as well as everything else in the MLS. We're also launching some new Facebook advertising functionality, right, which is going to sync everything together as well. And so you'll be able to take your listing that you just posted, get an ad up on Facebook within 3 minutes without having to actually know what you're doing on Facebook because it's confusing as hell. The MLS stuff is actually going to be pretty neat. So the idea is that we already have connections with a lot of websites right now. And so when people are browsing, right, your website, that activity could come into LionDesk, and we do that right now. But we want to aggregate all of that data so you can say, show me everybody who's been to my site, who's saved 3 properties. Let me see that. Let me set them up on a saved search so that if a new property comes up. And so we're going to have probably by the end of this month, we're launching a beta test of all of this stuff, the MLS, the ad portal, and all this other stuff. And I'm pretty excited about it because it's been a long time coming, and we're not trying to become an MLS. I don't want to do that. We just want to make that communication easier and then also prevent you from having to log into 5 different things to figure out what the heck is going on with your client.
Yeah, you got to log into a graphic art server to make your piece. You got to log into Facebook and upload the JPEG and know how to run the ad after going to the MLS, right? So you guys are trying to just have it all be within. Send it out. Okay, very cool. That's definitely, Noel, that is definitely a new capability. So awesome. And then Lailene, sorry if I butchered your name. It's tough. My name's Dan, so I don't mess that one up. You guys are creative names. I struggle. Want to know if we were doing an overview of LionDesk today. So that one I can answer the question of. No, we wanted to just keep this an interview, just kind of do a wrap session with David, let you guys ask some questions. But David, you guys, I mean, I have to imagine, I don't have a schedule in front of me, but I have to imagine you guys probably do something like that for the association on occasion. And if you don't have one
so
scheduled, I guess maybe we need to get one scheduled, apparently. That's what she said.
We can schedule one for sure. I think we should. We also have liondesk.com/demo, and then you can register for a webinar there. Remember, everybody at OCR, if you log into your CRMLS dashboard right now, or Matrix, or whatever it is, if you click on that LionDesk logo, it'll build your account. You have a free account, and then there's discounts to upgrades. So Laylene also asked, we have a 25 and a 49. We actually have a $99 package as well. You get discounts as a CRMLS member on top of that. And I think it's like $39 or something for the 49. That's going to get you the number, the texting, the video, emails, like the whole kit and caboodle package. And then the other, like the upgrades, are these services that we offer to help you get up and running very quickly.
And then Sabrina and Cassie, both from OCR, have said that their classes are posted on ocrealtors.org/calendar. So you guys can go there. Hey, check it out. There's a LionDesk class tomorrow at 2 p.m. as it turns out. So that would be wow, David, you made that happen lickety split. Amazing how fast you booked that class. Good job.
Cassie and Sabrina.
They are on it. Hot dog, Cassie says. So yeah, so there's a class tomorrow to show how to use it and how to get the most out of it, you guys, at 2 o'clock apparently. So however you registered for this, right? This is also, I think, on OCR calendar. Go there and register for that one tomorrow, and there'll be somebody doing that overview. All right, so parting words, my friend. So we're wrapping it up here now. Parting words. We've talked about where we've been. We've talked about where we are. We've talked about where we're going. We've talked about a bunch of other random stuff in between. Just an overview of not anything specific, but just, as an entrepreneur, knowing a lot of real estate agents, using a CRM. What do you think the most important thing for an agent, during COVID? Forget COVID. COVID never happened because COVID's going to go away. And a lot of us still have a decade or more of business in us when things get back to normal. Forget all that stuff. Just good agents always do this. How would you answer that question? Good agents always do this. It's kind of wide open, but it's kind of cool because it gives you a lot of flexibility. And I want to hear like something not so pigeonholed.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it, right? I mean, even if I didn't own a CRM company, I would still say database because that's how we built my last company as well, right? I mean, that's really where the gold is. The other thing is that we have this incessant need for new leads, right? It's like, oh, I want a new lead. But we really don't have a lead problem in this industry. We have a follow-up problem, right? I mean, every statistic that's out there says you sell it, the client's happy, but they don't use you again. Why? Because you're not following up consistently, right? So all good agents are following up. The best agents that I've talked to that are doing, some of these people are doing a couple hundred, 200, 300 transactions. Some of them don't have a CRM, right? Because they're just relational with their clients. Now, they could probably do twice as much if they did, right? But if you're sitting at home right now wondering, I need a new lead, take a look at your database, and I guarantee you there's a new lead in there, and you don't have to pay for it. All you got to do is send them a quick message, right? So the good agents are always thinking about, how am I going to follow up? How am I going to nurture? How am I going to build a relationship? That's going to turn into a referral and a repeat. It may take a few years for that repeat, but you're going to get a lot of referrals in between. Leverage your partners, leverage your lender, leverage that title rep. Everybody knows everybody that wants to move. Everybody has a house, right, that they want to move into or move out of, especially now, right? I mean, I think you're sitting at home and you're like, I need to get the hell out of here, or this place is great. So that's it, man. Good agents, good business owners, right? Think about it as a business and not just as like a salesperson.
The money is in the follow-up, right? That's LionDesk 101 right there. The money is in the follow-up. That's so true. That's if we could, those are free leads. You don't have to pay for them again. They're sitting there. We just have to do a better job of staying in front of them, keeping in touch with them, bringing value to them. Automation makes that easy. You can't automate everything. You have to have some personal touch, but you can automate your reminders to be personal with them, which is also kind of a core feature, right? And so you're right. Follow-up. The money's in the follow-up, I think, would be the best thing. Stop chasing the lead. You need some lead gen, but really the problem is lack of conversion with existing leads. If we could all convert some of those leads, we wouldn't have a lead issue, right? That's a really good tip.
Correct. You wouldn't have to spend, tons of money trying to figure out what, the next lead is going to be. If you just focus on what you got and communicate it. And then once you get those processes down, then add a little more to the top of the funnel, and then add a little more. And next thing you know, you can add a whole lot because you have your processes down and you're just making a lot more.
Good tip. All right, everybody, this is your last chance. You got 30 seconds to type. So hopefully you're not one of those slow typers that I talked about. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. So if you got one more question, throw it in the Q&A bar. If you can't find that, throw it in the chat. You're down to 22 seconds, just so you know. David, man, thanks for coming on. This is good. We should do one of these sometime. I don't know when, but we should do one of these sometime with bring Randy in too and have 3 heads on the screen. That'd be fun.
Yeah, man, I'm glad I'm here. Thanks for inviting me. OCAR is awesome over there, and looking forward to seeing you again in person, man. I miss it. I think we all do.
Larry has asked for a PDF of presentation. I think she means JPEG, but this is recorded. OCR will have it, and they are going to be sending it. They have a way to get it out to everybody. So you guys will be able to see this again if you missed any of it. And again, tune in tomorrow to the 2 o'clock training. It won't be David. It won't be me. But there'll be people on there talking about how to get the most out of this system if you have more technical questions. All right. Hey, man, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Everybody out there, stay safe. Go do business. There's business being done. Go get your slice of the pie. That's my advice. Next week, I'll be back again doing another interview with who am I doing it with next week? Oh, Tyler. Check this out. I'm doing it with Tyler Thompson.
Right on.
The Second Century Ventures and Reach, which is the National Association of Realtors investment arm for joint ventures and stuff like that. Super cool guy. I'm telling you, most agents don't even know that this exists, right? And this arm of the NAR exists, and they've brought us things in the past that are simply amazing, like DocuSign, and been responsible for helping get that funded and made a reality. So Tyler Thompson is going to be our guest next week, everybody. So same time, same place, 1 o'clock. Be here. Look forward to seeing you then. David, I'll be talking to you via Messenger here real soon, I'm sure. And one of these days when we're allowed to do fun stuff, we'll go to Encinitas and have ourselves a cocktail again one of these days.
Looking forward to it, man. And thanks for inviting me. Hopefully we brought some content value, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Signing off, Jonathan.